It is episode 13 of Hanging Left. My name is Matt Connarton, and of course, my partner in crime in this venture, Todd Ayer, is here. Hey, Todd,
Hey,
how's it hanging?
it's hanging left as usual.
Yeah, me too. Well, it's cold out, so it really
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
just kind of stays
Well,
in
yes,
place.
it's hiding.
Jesus, that's winter. You get a lot of snow where you are?
I did. I mean, we got about I would say, I don't know actually. Because it went on top of the other snow.
Yeah, we got more than I expected. Because we do the radio show Saturday morning at WMNH,
Yep.
and fortunately, we don't have to go very far to get there. But I did not expect what I woke up to
Yeah.
on Saturday
No,
morning.
for sure.
It's more than I would have liked. But I always say I wouldn't care if it never snowed again. I
love the snow.
I know. Yeah, most people do. I don't like it.
Love
I'm not
the
a winter
snow,
guy.
hate ice.
There you go. Exactly. We probably should acknowledge too. Well, we should say for anyone who's joining the live stream, and of course, most people will consume the content as always in the podcast form. And please subscribe to Hanging Left on the podcast platform of your choice, or if you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. But today is February 8, 2026. And it is Super Bowl Sunday. So go Pats, I guess. As I said to you in text message, I'm not a fan of sports ball. It is not interesting to me. But I do like when the Patriots do well, just because it makes people around me happy. So I like to see other people happy. So
that is true.
Yeah. So for anyone who's into it, I hope they win.
It's a gentler, softer Patriots too. Now that Bill Belichick is gone, the new coach is actually seems like a really stand-up guy.
What's his name? John? Is it John Vrabel? Is that his name? Vrabel?
Begins the V. I don't remember, but what I do know is that he's all about this collaboration, and he actually cares about his his players' feelings, and isn't afraid of that. I guess real men have emotions. He's not a MAGA guy. It doesn't seem.
Well, who knows?
Who knows? But it doesn't seem like it. If he is, he's not flagging MAGA. I'll tell you that much. I don't think he is, though.
I've certainly met some people who you wouldn't think they are, and then you get to know them just a little bit more, and you go, "Oh, really?"
Well, except he's in Massachusetts, so they even. Mass is so left now at this point that they don't even really let their football players be MAGA.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. I actually I find myself whenever the subject of football comes up, I find myself quoting George Will, and that might surprise people because George Will, obviously a conservative, but he had a great quote. Because he's a baseball guy, he loves baseball, and he doesn't like football, and he's always described football as being a series of committee meetings interrupted by random acts of violence. That's how he views football. And I've always really liked that quote. Yeah. In fact, I used that quote the other day with someone who I didn't know what their politics were, but we were talking about the Super Bowl, and I used that quote. I pulled that out, and I learned something about the person I was talking to. So it turns out, he's a conservative and I'm a liberal, but in that moment where we kind of met in the middle, and partly because of George Will, is, we both agreed Trump's a piece of shit. So that was nice. See, Trump brings people together.
Yeah.
Or maybe football does, or George Will does. Right. I don't know. But so what should we talk about first, Todd? Should we talk about ice?
Yeah, I mean, I think that ice, it depends. I mean, I guess we could. It depends if you want to go national and then local, or you want to go local then national.
Maybe we should start local because we've talked about that specifically before, the ice facility that is being built in Merrimack. And just so people know, it's not, at least from what I understand, because Jenny and I know someone who lives very near there who drives by this and sees the new road that's been built and everything. This is not, because I think there's confusion. This is not something that has been proposed and that might happen. This is something that is happening. And our governor lies to us when she said, "Well, I don't know. No, there's nothing going on." She just flat out lies to us.
Well, her latest stance, and I don't like to give Ayer any credit, but I guess but I'm also believe in the truth. I don't believe in fake news. Unbeknownst to the Trumpster fire, I actually do tell the truth. We all tell the truth. So Kelly Ayer, interestingly enough, seems to be leaning towards not being a big champion of it, or at least her public presence is that. Now,
Right.
I feel like it's a political strategy for her.
Yes.
I mean, anyone that's in the political sphere of anywhere in New England, but even New Hampshire, would read the tea leaves and realize that, like, at least being out about being a hardcore, like MAGA conservative is not going to help you win like the entire state.
Yeah, not in this part of the country. Yeah.
Right. So even in New Hampshire, people, it gets a bad rap. People think it is definitely one of the more conservative of the New England states. But that said, it's also it also likes to be kind of do its own thing and doesn't like a lot of like over sort of governmental overreach or any of that, which is why it's very anti-ICE. It's all these things as a collective. And I'm not saying it doesn't have its proponents, because it does. But that said, we have to keep in mind that anytime Kelly Ayotte does anything that we are celebrating, it's a political strategy on her part. I don't trust her, and I think no one should trust her. I think that's how you get extremists in there. You trust the more like seemingly moderate conservatives that aren't really moderate conservatives, and then they go in and they open the floodgates. It's like when like in the Game of Thrones, when like the one guy like climbs in the secret entrance into the city and then opens the main gate, and then the raiders go in and scorch the city. That's kind of how an Ayotte works, like they secretly try to gain trust, and then they go into the secret passageway underneath the canal system, and then open the gate, and then all the MAGA hordes come in.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the history of Kelly Ayotte's political career, and you think about when she got out when Trump was coming in.
Yeah,
but she didn't wait for Trump to stay out before she finally got back in. I don't know if she just felt it was the right time or whatever, but I don't hear her. She doesn't push back on MAGA really. I mean,
no, she's a sympathizer for sure, but I think that every so often she'll do something publicly to make it seem like, or maybe even just to keep people guessing. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think also to continue to be the kind of Republican that people are comfortable with in a northeastern state, because she's very much, to me, ideologically, she's very much in the mode of or the model of Chris Sununu. A very moderate, sort of centrist northeastern Republican, rather than a Republican you would find in Alabama or Mississippi or something. So, and that's I even will confess I voted for Chris Sununu on more than one occasion. I would critique that. I would critique that in hindsight.
He's gotten way worse though. Now he's really just like the Republican version of like a corporate Democrat, and I would argue ideologically he's gone more MAGA. Like and Trump just endorsed him. So
yeah,
Chris Sununu is no friend of mine.
Right. But yeah, I feel like Kelly Ayotte, she wants to maintain, especially if she wants to run for president, which I believe she will. I'm not saying I'm not saying in 28, but maybe 32, maybe 28 actually. But I think she wants to maintain that sort of profile of being a reasonable, moderate northeastern Republican. Especially if she wants to keep getting elected, because that seems to be what we like in our governors anyway, on either side. If it's a Democrat or a Republican, we want somebody who is going to be in the center.
Yeah.
And it's not unique to New Hampshire. I mean, you look at Phil Scott in Vermont. I know Democrats in Vermont who love Governor Scott, even though he's it is Scott. Am I saying the right name?
I don't know. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I'm not up in my gubernatorial
He's a governor of Vermont. He's a Republican, but I
knew that. I didn't know that there was a Republican governor in Vermont. Yeah. I just didn't know the name.
Yeah, but he's very, very moderate. Probably one of the most. He might be the most liberal Republican governor in the entire country. And he.
And you could argue that some of the Democrats are pretty, on the other side, like lean a little bit more conservative in the governor positions too. Like there's definitely, I can't, off the top of my head, I cannot come up with like a progressive a fully progressive governor.
Yeah, you're right. Now that you mention it. Yeah, that office.
I can. I guess Massachusetts, pretty much.
Well, yeah.
I mean, she's a little bit. I mean, well, for one thing, she's an out lesbian, but
Laura
that does not that means anything. But
I didn't even know that about her.
Oh yeah, big time.
I had no idea.
Oh. Yep. So but she definitely knows how to play politics too.
Yeah.
Although she's had a strong stance against ICE, and I feel like that's kind of like the real demarcation right now. It's like abolish ICE or don't abolish ICE. I mean, and a lot of towns in Massachusetts, which is why they're thinking of this whole Merrimack deal. A lot of towns in Massachusetts are sanctuary cities. Like pretty much, I think all of their big towns are, all their big cities are. So
yeah.
And that's like, that's like a rock in their shoe. They can't stand those sanctuary cities.
Oh yeah. Well, it gives the right a good talking point. They're always talking about sanctuary cities this, sanctuary cities that. Did you had some notes, right? Or you had some information?
I did. So I think the thing that it seems to be that there's a little bit of confusion. That's my dog.
Yes.
Seems to be there's a little bit of confusion as to how far along the I call it a concentration camp. This Merrimack concentration camp is moving forward and where it's at. So I think, as I understand it, I'm gonna go. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go.
Oh, okay. Todd is going to deal with his dog. It's funny. So, last night I did a live podcast of Tough Bumps with Eric Pilcher, and our friend Eric Pilcher. He also has a dog who joins the show, although not by barking, but by appearing on camera. But
she would do that too. She probably will. And actually, I'll probably have to get up now that I've kind of like partially shut the door.
Yeah.
She'll probably get angry and then bark more. So like,
oh no,
she's a terrier. So like any of these, especially like the middle and mid-size and short-haired terriers, like they just are. They're extremely intelligent, but they're extremely particular too. So they love they love attention. I don't know. I mean, now that I don't like to use the word narcissist to some extent anymore because of all the evil narcissists that are out there, but little bit self-absorbed sometimes, but that's okay. Sure. She's a pup, so that's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And his daddy spoils her, so it's not her fault.
But you were saying that, so there was about confusion about...
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I'm hearing all kinds of, noise about it. And to be fair, I have access to a lot of people that a lot of people don't, in the sense that, like, I would say the full bandwidth. So, like, I hear from I have one-on-one conversations with Pappas about this sort of thing and sort of his insights and feedback about it. I had a really nice conversation with him in Merrimack, actually, about this at the Merrimack, what they call the Super Bowl, which is like a big, like, soup fest thing. That they do, like, pick the best soup and they all cook. It was the Merrimack Democrats, and it's a fundraiser that they do. And it was cute.
They call it the Super Bowl?
Yeah, SOUPER Bowl.
Spelling won't matter. They're still going to get a cease and desist letter at some point. The NFL doesn't. Yeah, the NFL doesn't screw around.
Oh,
no, for real. They're
probably now that I just announced it on the podcast. Yeah.
No, probably no. It'll probably stay under the radar. But I'm just saying though. But the NFL though, they do. They're very, very. They're brutal with that. But
well, all they do is just stand around and banter anyway. Like, as far as, like, I mean, the halftime shows and not the Super Bowl, at least they bring in artists, but like the side shows and the NFL week show and then this show. I mean, literally I get a headache from it. Like, it's just absolute, just white noise. It's horrific.
Yeah.
Like, because to me, the whole sport is just so antiquated, and it's, like you said, it's slow, and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't do it.
It's like it's like an old car that keeps popping into neutral, and you can't get it to go to drive. I mean, it's just so horrific. Like,
yeah, yeah, it's not for me.
Yeah. Anyway,
so can you?
So anyway, the lore that I've heard, it's kind of like it runs the gamut, right? So from Kelly Ayotte saying she didn't know about it and it's not all that far along, which obviously we can't take for granted. With all the activists, and I know some people that are really dived into it. They have not. I guess the bottom line is I have not heard the like cry of resistance that it's happening for sure. It seems like there's a lot of like the activism word on the street, and it seems like the establishment word on the street with the established Democrats seems like there is still a way to stop it.
Okay.
So that would lead me to believe that the contract has not been signed. So that's really the key, right? Because if you Rachel Maddow had a great show that she did the other day, and she went down all these towns, some very red, some very blue, some very purple. And in all of these towns, she kind of just listed how they all stopped these ICE concentration camps from coming into existence.
So this, just so I'm clear, so this has been ongoing in these various places where there are
in all these spheres. Yep.
Is it a big list that she presented? Is it quite a few towns?
Yeah, it's quite a few lists, and it's in very red places too, which is great.
Interesting. Yeah, that's
a lot of red and purple places. Actually, it's almost like the blue ones. We expect them to be able to stop it.
Yeah.
Because there's just literally zero public tolerance for it.
Right.
But I'll tell you one of the ways, and this won't make some of our state reps very happy. But one of the ways is just like they like to use the term doxing. I like to use the term being truthful about who's got their hands in it and who's making money off of this. And it's really exposing those people and getting their names out there, and certainly not, saying go track them at the grocery store, but like, get their names out there, blast them all over social media, like, go for it. Like these people have a right to spend their money where they want to spend their money. So,
right.
I don't have the name of them yet, but when I get the name of the real estate company that's involved in this Merrimack, I will be saying it live on here. I'll be blasting all over social media. So, come at me, boo, catch me outside. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Like, because people have a right to be educated of where their money's going, and none of us want it.
Right.
And, shame on whatever real estate company's doing it. And we should all pull whatever money we can pull from these people. And bankrupt them if we have to. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Like anyone who is going to bed with MAGA in their concentration camps should be bankrupted. I mean,
Agreed.
And boycotted.
Agreed. We should also too, I think in New Hampshire, there's probably a lot of Republicans who don't want it. Because
that's what I'm saying, like no one wants this.
Right. Because it's like, what, even in, obviously Republicans love to engage in all their anti-immigrant rhetoric and hand-wringing over illegal immigration and whatnot. But if we're all being honest with each other,
the Free Staters probably want it. Sorry, not to interrupt. I'm sure the Free Staters want it, but these Free Staters are also like, like preppers, for God's sake. So like, the prepper level, if you can even, I don't even know why Republicans would want to adopt these people into the sphere, but they have. But like these people probably want it. But in the reality is they're not real Republicans. So like, if you're like a revolutionary, if you're a Jan Sixer, then yes, you probably want it.
Oh, sure. Well, of course, those people do, the hardcore MAGAs. But in a place like New Hampshire, it's like, why are we like, this isn't Texas. This isn't New Mexico. Like I guess what I'm trying to say is in a place like New Hampshire, why would anyone ultimately, if you're being logical about it, who gives a shit about illegal immigration in New Hampshire? You know what I mean? Like really, like.
Well, let's be careful how we say that. He doesn't mean he doesn't give a shit about immigrant rights. What he's saying is that like we have such a small immigrant population, seemingly, that why is it an issue? Well,
right, exactly. Like, why is it an issue? Like, and I'm sure there's a lot of logical Republicans who say, this is not something I'm overly concerned with.
I would say
in New Hampshire of all places.
Well, you're right. And to the public, I would say that probably if they were to do what like a surface dive, kind of go snorkeling into this waters, they would find out, you're right, that like it wasn't a big deal. But if you do a deep dive, it's actually a bigger deal than we think. We actually have a larger immigrant population than we think. And I'm not going to quote the ethnicities because I'm not an expert on that, but my partner in crime on the activism side Jason Quino could certainly sit here and tell you all of the different groups and like where they're located and where's there's like a dense population. So I'm no expert in that, but
I mean, I live in Manchester. This is a very ethnically diverse city,
right? But there are certain ones that are like I don't think here it's Somalians, but there are certain groups that are, and I can't recall off the top of my head.
Yeah.
There is one group from Africa, but I'm not even going to try to say which one because I don't know which country it's from. But
yeah,
so we have a strong population from somewhere in Africa.
Yeah.
Certainly there's a large Latin American, Central American population, I would say, relatively large as far as immigrant populations go in New Hampshire.
Right.
Now they probably are trying to come after the Canadians. So God knows, I don't know how many.
I know someone who has dual citizenship who is, I think I mentioned this on the show once before, actually. I think I might have told this before. I know someone who has dual citizenship who's Canadian and American, who is actually afraid to leave the country because she's afraid that despite her status, she's actually going to have a hard time getting back in if she goes to visit family in Canada. She's waiting for this administration to end before she goes and visits her family back in Canada.
Wow.
Because she's afraid to be crossing the border. She just thinks anything could go wrong. She's that, and this is a white, person with dual citizenship who's just like, everything is so weird now. I don't even dare leave and go to Canada.
Interesting that you say that, and I don't want to go off on too far of a tangent on that, but one of the newest populations that MAGA's going after is the white liberal woman. So, so yes, I especially the women. It's almost like, because like they're like, in their mind, race traders almost, like they're not doing what they should be doing. They're not perpetuating the, good, wholesome, puritanical position that a white woman should be doing, like by, supporting her white husband.
I haven't heard anyone put it that way, but Todd, that's a really good insight. I think you're right. I'd never stopped to think about it that way.
It's true.
But I think you're absolutely correct. That makes total sense. Knowing how they think, and I think you're right. Yeah.
And yet again, another Nazi parallel, because one of the groups that the Nazis really would punish were any German sympathizers. So like they see, it's all out of that handbook.
Yep.
But
you're right.
We'll do a whole other issue on, I think, comparison of ICE and Nazis. I wrote a really cool paper on it. So I think that could be a whole just episode in itself.
Yeah, no doubt.
So we will definitely explore that. But so that's the white women trope. But anyway, the other thing, though, that I think is very interesting is that Granite Staters are not big, as we know, on paying taxes. And they're not big on disruption of their infrastructure or really any costs. They don't like extra costs. It's like, that's the Puritanism in them. It's like, I think they, even those of us that are logical, we tend to, I guess not necessarily me, I would probably be considered by most Granite Staters a socialist, but that's why they live here instead of Massachusetts, because like they feel like it's too much socialism and whatever. Even a lot of the Democrats, I think, feel that way. And so I think one of the things we have to go against this center, this concentration camp, is the Merrimack infrastructure. It's not Nashua. It's not Manchester. It's not even Bedford. It's like kind of like a less wealthy Amherst. So like it doesn't have, but even an Amherst wouldn't have the structure for it. Right. So like basically, whether you're talking the plumbing, whether you're talking the electricity, whether you're talking the water systems, would all be completely overtaxed if they were to do this. So it's not even pragmatic.
Yeah.
Because you're going from a place that is not even, it's also not zoned. So this place is zoned for like either, I want to say like industrial, like light industrial storage and stuff like that. It's not zoned for like a large mass of people.
Well, but from their perspective, that's what it's for, is storage for warehousing people.
Right. But I mean, again, there's rumors that this would cost like, the town of Merrimack somewhere in the neighborhood of like $500,000, in extra costs.
Yeah.
And, not that I want them to do this anyway.
Right.
But I'm sure as hell not going to pay for it. Like,
Right.
they can pay for their own mess.
Yeah.
But look, hey, I think that they tend to like to fly under the radar. It's almost like that metaphor of like when the Nazis were burning Jews and there was like white flakes in the sky and they were claiming it was snow. That's what they want us to think. It's just a snowstorm. It's just, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. But look, because it has to be so covert, I think we have a chance to really cause some upheaval and start some shit up. Like, I think we can stop this. I really do. Shout out to Maggie Goodlander. She put out a survey. She's trying to get like the public sort of, A, educated, and B, also Congresswoman Goodlander is also trying to let people know, so educate them on what's happening, but also kind of get a public poll so that then that can be presented as ammunition against this thing. Right. And so really it is a self-interested activity that's only going to benefit MAGA National and this handful of people that are going to make money off it. And that's it.
Right.
Which will turn a lot of Granite Staters, that alone. Like, we're all about, like, it's a very prideful place. So it's like, why should we like make these outsiders money, basically?
Can you reveal anything about your conversation that you had? You said you had a one-on-one with Pappas. And then I had a great
conversation with Pappas.
Yeah.
I would say I'm going to err a little bit on the side just to respect him because we are getting him to move, in the direction I would like him to move, which I think is great. And I think he does deserve credit for that. But basically, look, I mean, his feelings are that we will do what we can to stop as much of what we can with ICE. But he did give me, a word of caution, and he wants me to kind of like let people know that, like, if we do not get a full abolishment of ICE, which even if we take the House and the Senate, we may not get. We could, but we may not. I don't know what kind of like blocks the federal government can put in there to like stop us from a full abolishment. But even if we weren't able to get that through, if we do things like, the anti-masking, they have to have identifications, they have to stop the Gestapo tactics. So that they're basically, I mean, I think the plan is to like dilute it down and water it down as much as possible so that when we do finally have the ability, worst case scenario in 2028, we take the presidency to abolish the whole damn thing. It'll be a lot less to abolish. Like, it'll be watered down to a nothingness.
Well, here's the thing though, too. If you can water it down to why can't we water it down to what it was before Trump? Because ICE is not new. This is not a new agency. And
it is new. It is new. ICE is new. ICE was established during the Patriot Act. ICE itself, I'm not saying immigration is new. DHS is not new, but ICE is new. So the problem with ICE, and what I've been told by many legal scholars and people in the legal world, also, Pappas talked about this as well. It's an administrative organization. So it's difficult when you have an administrative organization structured as such to stop it from doing behaviors that theoretically it's not supposed to be doing, but it's also not even on record of doing. So like, basically, it's not supposed to have a roaming police force. Like, it's supposed to be the way it's structured, but as an administrative organization, what I mean by that is it's governed by the administration. Right. So it's supposed to be an arm of the administration. So most police forces have limitations. They, so they have to have the IDs. They can't be masked. They can't, there's Miranda rights. There's, they have to read people, all kinds of things, there's laws, but how they're getting around all this, it's all legal. It's like, basically, there's no oversight. And like I said, I think last time, Congress chose to give up this oversight in the naive belief that it wasn't going to get like this. Like, they really didn't believe that. Yeah. Because, so we used to have the Border Patrol, and the Border Patrol used to do all of the policing side of DHS. And that's all. That was really the only policing arm. But these roving, like, group of bandits in masks is very new. Like, this is nothing. It didn't even happen after 9/11. I mean,
Well, that's the thing, and that's why I want to be very precise about this, though, because we'll get crucified on social media if we don't get this exactly right. So ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, it was, like you said, part of the Patriot Act. So it was established in 2000, March of 2003.
Correct.
But they did. But my point was, I mean, so they were operating. There's a reason I bring this up. So obviously there were deportations are nothing new.
No,
under Obama, there was
I mean they're bipartisan. Yeah, they're bipartisan too. I'm not here to champion even the way the Democrats handled it, because I don't think they did it right, frankly.
Right. And immigration activists would often refer to Obama derisively as the deporter in chief because they didn't like what was going on. Tons of deportations under Biden. It is bipartisan. So, but the reason I bring that up is I just want to say to my friends on the right who come at us and say, oh, you just think we should have all these, I hate the term, illegals in the country and whatnot. It's like, no, you can get the bad people out. It has been proven under previous administrations, but you can do it without having quotas. So you're not showing up at Home Depot and taking away workers. You can do it without.
How you get the bad people out, right? You get the bad people out by reestablishing the DHS as it was acting initially.
Yes.
You have them work with border agents.
Yes.
You tighten. I have no problem with a tighter border. You tighten the border.
Me neither.
But on the flip side, you have a path to citizenship to people that have. I don't care if they came here, quote unquote, illegally, if they are doing everything and anything to be full participating Americans.
100%.
For God's sakes, they've proven that they, there's probably other people that are full Americans I'd rather deport, frankly.
Yeah. Make them pay a fine if it makes you feel better.
Yeah, whatever works. Like, but even still, these people have paid into the system. They're not even getting the benefits. So it's such a misleading statement to say, oh, they're using our system. No, we're using them, as a matter of fact. It's like this, it's almost like this tacit slavery, or at least like sharecroppers. I mean, they do not have a lot of rights. I mean, the way that like the fruit pickers and all those people live is like, we couldn't even fathom it. I wouldn't put, a domesticated animal or my food source animals in that type of environment. Like it's just, it's horrific. It's not. So we're the culprits here. And if we have to like not, if the only way to deny that is to do this crap, then that's what I think it's all about. I think it's all about, passing off blame of like maybe some things that I don't know if they're embarrassed, but that they want to cover up and make it look, well, they're the illegal ones. Like, I mean, it's such a small percentage of people. These, it's just ridiculous. But so anyway, back to my whole plan. So you do that. And guess what? You take the FBI and you bring them back to doing domestic policing as our senior level federal police, domestically, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. You stop having them. We've got the CIA and the NSA and all those other people to do the international stuff. We don't need, the FBI involved in that as well. It just doesn't have to happen. Well, certainly you want to partner with those people, but again, have a liaison, have a small team that, does this, but we don't need, like overseas FBI teams. So it's like everything has been like restructured incorrectly.
Yeah.
It's like, let's just like put people back, in where they are.
Yeah.
And then get rid of ICE, because ICE is a bunch of roving. Talk about the people that are the worst of the worst. It's the ICE agents. And P.S., half of them are treasonists. They were taken out of like, half of them were recruited. At least the first group of them were taken from Jan 6.
Yeah.
They were the ones raiding the Capitol. So how should they be protecting Americanism and nationalism? These are scumbags.
Yeah, they're the domestic terrorists. And just to be clear, when I say that, I'm referring specifically to anyone involved in Jan 6.
Yeah.
I'm not calling ICE agents that.
I am. ICE is
I know. No, I basically agree, but I'd like to be very precise with my terms. So what I'm just saying is anyone who participated actively in January 6th is absolutely
they're
a domestic terrorist.
But ICE is the Gestapo, because they're knowingly, and I'm sorry, a police officer, a military official, anybody that willingly and knowingly participates in unconstitutional behaviors and anti-American behaviors is treasonous. Like, I don't care. I don't, even if you're not a leader, and if you don't know, you shouldn't be a police officer or a military official. Like, you should at
just
least
following orders.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
I know.
I mean,
I agree.
Have a moral compass.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently some people have left ICE for that reason, but obviously not enough. But there's also,
and just like before MAGAs, I welcome you back.
Yes.
But wake up. Like, seriously, wake up. Like, no police force was invented to have murders on the streets of America. That is not what police are for.
Well, and that goes to the other point, too, that I was making about previous administrations and their deportations. Again, Obama deported record numbers. How many American citizens, though, over the course of that were murdered in the street because of that? None that I remember. So,
Yes, this isn't really about immigrants anymore. Like, ICE's newest mandate is to go after the protesters. I mean, if you look at it now, they're so engulfed in this, and they're so, entrenched in that. I would love to see the numbers right now. I doubt they're doing a lot of active deporting. They're too busy fighting protesters.
I know. That's what happened in Minneapolis. Well, it was pretty clear, though, too, what was going on there is, they were told, hey, now, these protesters, now you gotta show them who's in charge. After Nicole Renee Good was murdered, now it's like, we got to remind them, this could happen to them too. It's like just getting more and more strong arm with the tactics. And
so I guess back to the whole administration thing. So again, I'm not a legal scholar, nor am I a attorney, but as I understand it, the structuring is such that for all intents and purposes, and obviously we use the term abolishment because basically that's what it would be. Mm-hmm. I mean, we could lighten it and call it reconstruction of the ICE, or restructure the ICE program. But honestly, it would be, but the reforming is so hardcore. Right. You basically would have to take it all apart and put it all back together. And none of it would be the same. So that's called abolishment.
Yeah.
That's not, that's what that is.
No,
it's a teardown.
Yeah.
It's a teardown. Yeah. It's a total teardown. There's no way, because now it's so, and also now they put up all these like safeguards to guard the illegalness of it. So there's no way, and we have to get rid of all the leadership. So what's left? So call it what you want, but like, it's a true abolishment because the leadership's unjust, and illegal. They're asking them to do illegal things. They're using administrative warrants instead of real warrants. They have hijacked some parts of the court system, including parts of the Supreme Court. The whole system is garbage. So like, there's no way. It's like, it would be like saying, well, we're gonna keep this car, and what would be left would be the wheels of the steering wheel, like, or not the steering wheel, just the wheels. Maybe I don't actually know. We're taking the wheels and the steering wheel. I guess I don't know, lights. I have no idea. But anyway, the whole point is like, rewinding that car analogy was horrible because literally every part of the car wouldn't work either. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, anyway, that's my tangent.
Yeah. No, it was good. I
think that I do want to say this too. I think, the other thing is that both Congressman Goodlander and Congressman Pappas have apologized for their vote on Lincoln Riley and said that they would take it back. Hindsight, of course, is 2020. But also, I think that like we shouldn't bash them because like we need their allyship, we need their power and influence, and people make mistakes. They're humans at the end of the day.
I believe in positive reinforcement, and if someone says I was, especially because how often does a politician ever actually directly say I was wrong, I made the wrong call on that?
Right.
No, I believe, take people back, welcome them with open arms. That's always been my policy. I'll never.
Right.
I mean,
if we're gonna take back MAGA people,
and
let them, if they choose to now finally see the light, I sure as hell have to take back a center left Democrat who's becoming more progressive. I mean, that's nothing compared to the crap some of these other people have done.
The only problem with the MAGA people who eventually ditch MAGA and become repentant is, and I welcome them too, but I always kind of feel like, how did you not know what was going to happen? It's like,
I don't know. Maybe there'll be an MA like MAGA anonymous, and they'll have to go to like an MA program.
How did you not know what you were getting into supporting him? Yeah, so
that's
You're talking
always to someone that has no clue about that. I mean,
I know.
I mean, I get it. We could get into the psych of it and the sociology of it and all this jazz, but like, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know.
But I do welcome them. So should we talk about let's see, we also had the Obama video.
Yeah.
That Trump posted on social media, which is of course extremely racist and playing to the base, I guess.
Yeah, again, I don't know what their strategy is there, other than just like a shock and awe, and Bannon's whole like flood the, what does he say? Flood the
zone.
Flood the zone, exactly. Like it's another flood the zone moment. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Obama for the Obamas, and really a lot of people not overreacting to it. I think that's important because it takes away the strength of it.
Right.
I'm not going to clutch my pearls on it because it's not shocking that they did it.
No, not at all. Nothing surprises me anymore.
And they're ignorant buffoons. And even if, which I don't believe anyway, but even if he didn't know and it was someone that worked on his staff, well, someone close enough to the president should know. And if and that in itself is a problem. If your staff is doing things that are like nationally and internationally, like, released into the social stratosphere, and you don't know, that's also a problem. So you don't have a very good handle on your staff. That's the issue.
You know what that reminds me of? And this was not a national issue. This was a state issue. But when Chris Christie with Bridgegate, and he did that like 2-hour press conference where he's just like, I don't know what they were doing. I had no idea. I was completely clueless. And it's like, dude, of course you knew. And of course they felt comfortable doing what they did because they're in your administration and they knew that you would tacitly approve of it.
Right. I mean, it's supposed to be like an old Miss frat party now at the executive building. I mean, I guess Friday, it's like you drive by the executive offices next to the White House, and they've got like people on the balconies with solo cups. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Like, so this is their mentality.
Yeah. But it is remarkable to think that we've arrived at a time where the president of the United States can be so blatantly racist, whether it's posting that video or saying racist things about Somalis, that something that objectively racist, and and people in that party are just like, whatever, it's Trump, we don't mind, and people like us are like kind of desensitized to it all. But I mean, before Trump, anything like this would be so shocking, and now it's like, it's another day in America. Racism is kind of the cool hip thing right now for a large swath of the country, and never thought I'd see it, but here we are, and this is the reality that we live in. It's remarkable.
So I think it's a few things. I think number one, it's not, I mean, look, I've always been a cynic, so to me, it's nothing new.
Yeah.
I think it's a couple things. I think number one, it exposed the tacit racism that always existed in this culture. Mm-hmm. And the racial biases and all of those, which probably at some point in everyone's lives, even if you're a black and brown person, on the other way, you probably had, feelings that are biased and maybe we're not fully, for lack of a better word, woke about things.
Sure.
We've all been there, done that, and we all learn, and there's nothing wrong with that. That said, to make it like a national discourse to be openly racist and all of this, I mean, but when you talk about the worst of the worst, I mean, when you put the worst of the worst in power, what do you expect? I mean, these are, it's kind of like, Animal House meets Revenge of the Nerds. I mean, that's literally what we're dealing with right now. We've got these tech oligarchs that like never were picked first for like kickball, that have become billionaires, and now they hate everybody, and they're just still angry. And then you've got the bros that like their glory days were like when they were in their frat at college, and they're angry. And you've got a white trash vice president who is from some horrific white trash state, and and now is trying to play classy. And it's like, he reminds me of a Las Vegas whale who won all of this money in Las Vegas. So these people are, and I don't care this. I'm not running for president. So I will say these people, at least in the administration, are the deplorables. I think that's really what Hillary meant. It's deplorable. Yes. I mean, so, and if it makes me an elitist, a social and intellectual and progressive elitist to not approve of like cultures embracing racism and misogyny and homophobia and, you know, ethnocentric biases and all this other garbage, all the isms, then so be it.
I know. It's like my dad. He used to call me a woke liberal, and he'd throw that at me as an insult. And it's like, thank you, Dad. So, that's actually how you raised me to think before you became a MAGA dude. Thank you for calling me a woke liberal.
So I think that like most, if we want to get in the psychology of it, I think any psychologist would find most of these men in MAGA, especially in the leadership. I've come up with a theory. I think they're all sexually dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm. They're incels.
They're incels, and they're also way too obsessed with guys' dicks. Like way too obsessed. Like everything. It's like the trans lopping off of dicks. The who's gay, who isn't gay. The what's hypermasculinity and what's not hypermasculinity. The what does it mean to be a man and what does it not mean to be a man? Like all of it. It's just so like. And then someone said, the other thing that's very interesting is they've taken even the idea of bromance and made that like toxic. Like, so they have these, like someone said, you know, they have homosocial relationships. I mean, these men are like, you know, less fit Romans, you know, that like hanging out, like in these, like their own very, like, I wouldn't call it elitist because there's nothing elite about it. Right. It's like literally, it reminds me of like Goodfellas and all that stuff. Like they're all mobs. They're all a bunch of mobster thugs.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Do you think, because we just, you know, we were talking about Obama. Do you think any of this happens if, say, in an alternate universe, if Hillary Clinton had become the nominee and won the presidency in 2008?
Sorry, go ahead, Matt. I didn't mean to.
No, I mean, that was, I'm curious if, you know, if we had never had Obama, if we had never had, if these people didn't have to, from their perspective, suffer through 8 years of a black man as president of the United States, do you think that all of this, because that's a theory that some people have, this is all of it is just a backlash to that?
No, as a matter of fact, I think that it's really a manosphere. And so I think Obama is just a visual. So it's like, you know, you don't, there's no like, Obama can't be in the closet about being a black man. You know what I mean? So like he's a visual they can attack. Yeah. Right. So like he's just part of the thing. But I think the real threat to them is women and women in power and independent women and or men that appreciate independent women. Yeah. I think that's, I honestly feel like they're probably like if you're a misogynist gay man, I think they'd probably be more okay with you than a woman. Like
that's interesting.
No, I mean that's what Peter Thiel is. I mean Peter Thiel's a fascist misogynist gay man. Like, you know, so as long as you have this like elitist maleness.
Interesting.
Like, because that's what they're really obsessed with. And frankly, half of them are like, not half, but I would say probably maybe a quarter of them are closet cases. So like, you know, we've got Moses Mike Grinder Johnson, and we've got, you know, I don't know about Smoky Eyes there with, you know, Vance, but like, who knows?
Well, there's no shortage of research that shows that, you know, men who seem to be overtly homophobic.
And then later, Ladybug Lindsey Graham is the biggest. I mean, if that man isn't he's like a freaking drag queen, for God's sakes. Like even when he's not in drag. No, I mean, he has the persona of like a Southern belle drag queen. Like
he does.
There's nothing that flags that man straight. I think I could pass it straight before he could pass it straight. And I'm fucking out.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you.
I don't know how you can look at that man. I don't know how anybody can look at that man and be like, yeah, now that is masculinity. Yeah. Like, I just don't get, not that it matters.
Of course not.
Certainly not slamming that. Although it does matter because, like, honestly, really, real masculinity is get some balls and be who you are. That's real masculinity. And that's
agreed.
Or real, I don't know. I don't even like using the term but that's real assertiveness. That's being real self-assured. Like, be who you are.
Yeah. 100%. Should we? So, do you want to circle back to Kelly Ayotte, because there was
Oh,
more
sure. Did I get
on?
off on a probably?
No. We kind of actually, that's kind of the way we
If I was a
planned it out.
superhero, I'd probably call Tangent Man. You know?
No. It's great. It's great. This
Okay.
has been a great discussion. No, but I know we wanted to kind of circle back. I think at the end we wanted to go back because there is more to say about our governor, Kelly Ayotte.
Yeah, so my concern with Kelly Ayotte again is that, like, we really, all of my people out here, all my peeps, you know, even those that don't live in New Hampshire, if you could really help us blast out there that Kelly Ayotte, I don't know if this is where you're going with it, but this is where I'll go with it, and you can add your thing.
Yeah.
That she is not a centrist, she is not a left of center, she is not a socially tolerant Republican. She's none of these things. She's not a Kinzinger. She's none of those things. Like, she's a, you know, she's proud. She's a proud pro-lifer. She's a proud, you know, even though Kelly Ayotte did recently vote yes to veto a horribly anti-trans bill, she's a smart politician. I will give her that credit. By smart, I mean, like, she's a show woman. She knows how to, you know, she understands politics.
Yes.
And she understands, and frankly, she's been given the evidence, you know, that if you lean, and maybe it's like, I don't know if it's like an embarrassment for people. Maybe people don't want to admit they made a mistake putting Kelly Ayotte in. So if she keeps up that sort of disguise for people, then, you know, they might just go with it. And that's the problem. But we can't just go with it, because, look, I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. We can no longer have leaders in place, quote unquote leaders, that are not leaders. They're totally self-absorbed. They are in it to make money and just, like, increase their own power and boost their own insecurities and build their egos. And then, like, give us little, like, snacks while they eat the whole damn, you know, 4-course dinner. It's just not cool anymore. I don't care who you are. I don't care. I mean, that goes for, like, the do nothing Democrats that are in power too. The ones that are like that. Like, no more. We cannot be tolerating this. Like, yeah, sure, we'll do something for you, and then they do nothing.
Right.
So the do nothings or the liars have to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know, like,
that cover your Ayotte thing?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you know, like I was saying earlier, she's the kind of Republican that ideologically she may present as someone that, especially among independents, you know, someone who independents can be comfortable with, because she's not like an extreme, you know, evangelical Christian or something. But
I mean, I don't think that necessarily needs to be there to be. That's a Southern thing for the most part, evangelicals, right? And, like, maybe parts, I don't know enough about, I guess, the structuring of the evangelical church, but, like, it, you know, it's that type of thing. So, like, it's conservative type of, like, you know, Protestantism. But, like, even if someone is, like, Puritan enough, even though their church doesn't seem to be as, like, conservative as, like, an evangelical church, because it's not because it's not, like, conservative on blast, doesn't mean they don't have conservative views. I mean, if we look at who did the literal witch hunts, it was the Puritans, the Pilgrims. They were not good people. They were, like, you know, really repressive.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's where an Ayotte type, that's where you're like, some of, not a lot, but some of these, like, some of the blue state Republicans that hide and try to come across as more centrist. That's what they really believe behind closed doors, you know, like, so it's more of, like, you know, it's like they're not evangelical because they don't believe in, like, their ministers driving Rolls Royces, but it doesn't make them more tolerant.
Right. Absolutely.
It's just a more conservative. In some ways, it's almost like a more repressive conservatism. It's like, you know, it's like, I don't know, like putting on, it's like dressing like friars, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? Like, they're the modern friarisms, I guess. I don't know.
So I said, when we talked about Governor Ayotte early in the show, I said something. I'm just curious, and you reacted to it in the moment, but I'm curious now that that's been kind of in the back of your mind and your subconscious, perhaps while we've been talking. Do you have any idea about, you know, I made a comment about, I think she's going to run for president in 28 or 32.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think?
That is a very interesting thing, I have to say, Matt. That's out there with some of the things I said today that you had an aha moment with. I'll be honest, it was never on my radar. But honestly, I feel like other than a few people that have really like seemed to come out, I would say quasi strong on the Democratic side, hinting at like making a run for presidency. I had no clue. I mean, whatever, they're floating around Vance. I don't think he has the staying power. I don't think he can do it.
I don't either.
There's a lot of people that want Vance to do it because he's the puppet of the tech oligarchs.
Yes.
But they also are not popular with the general public. So like there's a reason why the tech oligarchs, I actually heard a very interesting podcast about this. Literally none of them could run as president because they don't have enough of a public like persona. They're not likable enough.
Yeah.
Even regardless of who they are, whether it's Jeff Bezos, Tim Cook, Zuckerberg, I don't know, whoever runs. There's a couple others that I'm not thinking of off the top. The Google guys, those Google men.
Yeah.
None of them. Like, well, I don't even know the Google guys, so there's that. Like, I don't even know their names.
Right. Which,
but
to
like,
your point,
Peter Thiel, deplorable. I mean, he's like doing world tours talking about the Antichrist. I mean, like, these people are not. They're also kind of deranged, frankly.
They are?
Like, and they're openly. The other thing is like, if we're having a hard time stomaching the possible like nationalization of legalization of marijuana, we certainly don't want a man that openly, microdoses Special K, like before he makes political decisions. So Elon Musk, I think he's not even U.S. citizen, right? Or I don't know enough about it, but
I believe he is.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
But he's nationalized, right? Isn't he a nationalized citizen?
Correct. Right. Because he's from.
So he couldn't be president, correct?
Correct. Yeah, he was not born in the United States.
Right.
Peter Thiel, by the way, I don't know if you watch South Park. Have you seen the way they lampoon Peter Thiel on South Park?
No, I'll have to check it out.
It is hilariously brutal.
I mean, he's a horrible person.
He is. I agree. All right. Well, Todd, I mean, we're coming up on an hour.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, we have a little bit of time. So Ayer for president. So interestingly, why president? You don't think she'd go for like Senate or something like that?
I just think, I think it's going to be a very open field post Trump, post MAGA. Obviously, JD Vance has the advantage of incumbency as the sitting vice president, but no, I think I can see maybe not in 28, maybe in 32, but
I'll tell you, the Vance thing is interesting because like there's already infighting, and you've got that whole Rubio crowd too that wants Rubio. So that's probably also not a good thing, for them. I mean, it's great for us. I don't care. I think the Republicans are going to run into kind of like if we ran, or did we now? I don't know. It's been such a like whirlwind. I forget what's happened and hasn't happened sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's like if we ran like Harris and like Michelle Obama and like, I don't know, like if we just did this like crazy hodgepodge, we would dilute our party too. So like, I feel like Republicans are about to hit that moment. Like there's so many people with like conflicting views and all this stuff because they are truly trying to, God forbid, I know Trump hates to hear this, but they need to reinvent themselves. I think there's a bigger plan than he thinks to reinvent themselves, because unless they're planning on like, putting him in cryogenics and like in a glass tube and like having him talk to people like, like on The Simpsons or something like that, or like what, like the talking head thing that just like, or was it was the space one they did actually.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember the name of it now, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, unless he's just gonna be like a head with like tubes floating to him. Although, I mean, really, do they want their leader to go off and babble about like whole milk for like hours and hours and hours?
Right.
So I don't know. And I think that like the Peter Thiels of the world and those people are going to be like, Trump, you've done what we needed you to do, and you're no longer a thing, and we're not going to pump money into you anymore because you're not a win anymore.
Yeah.
God knows Jeff Bezos could like have a trip and think that he should run for president. Like, I don't know. Like, there's so many, it's such a mess. Like, that's what's so funny. They're trying to present this like strongman image, but they are literally such a mess inside. Like,
oh yeah,
there's nothing strong. Like, they're so fragmented, and they're like falling apart at the seams. Like, and everyone is like consistently giving them the metaphoric finger across the world.
Right.
I mean, like, we just had the U.S. We just had the Olympics going on in Italy. It used to be tradition to play the American anthem like officially first.
Yeah.
Because people really truly at one point, I know it's shocking, especially to probably, Zoomers and even some young millennials, but there was a time where people respected the United States. Yep. And so to honor us, because we were doing so much, we made our mistakes, but we were doing so much to help the world. I think, again, we didn't always do the right things, but we did a lot of good things. We definitely did some good things.
Right.
And to say thank you for that, they would give us little, nods of appreciation, like play the national anthem of the United States in most international sporting events and in the Olympics. And they purposely played this new, like, the new, like, what, oh my God, now I'm, what's it called? Like, so they've got the Euro. Now, what's the whole collective of Europe called?
The EU?
Yeah.
European
so there's
Union?
an EU, there is an EU anthem.
Oh, I didn't realize this.
Yeah.
Really? That's interesting.
I didn't either. But to be fair, I'm not a huge, like, I don't really care either way about, anthems and flags.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't get all caught up in that. I feel like we have bigger things to worry about.
Yes.
But anyway, it was pointed out, and it made national news that they played the EU anthem, and they didn't. I don't even know if they played the national anthem. I don't recall.
Yeah.
So that was definitely, and they booed Vance.
Oh, did they?
So,
yeah.
I don't remember a time prior to Trump. And then Trump's been booed several times too at a lot of sporting events. So, like, he's the, I'm sure if you want to maintain power, you can't consistently have your leaders being like openly booed.
Yeah, a lot of Republicans love that shit, though, and they always have pre-Trump. For example, for as long as I can remember, I've been hearing conservatives talk about how they desperately want the United States to be completely separate from the United Nations because they just think that, we should just do whatever we want and we should not be cooperating with anybody. They actually they salivate over the idea of abandoning NATO. And, I mean,
well, they're all MAGAs now, though. These are all the MAGA people.
That's the thing. Yeah. It's completely infected the party, but those ideas I feel were already there. That's why I always say Trump is a symptom. He's not the cause. He's a symptom.
I mean, like Breitbart, like Bannon existed before Trump, I think,
Right. It's always been there. Trump came in and exploited
But again,
it.
he was just like the deranged, dirty old uncle. Like,
Right.
I mean, every time I look at that man, I just want to take a shower. Steve Bannon. Oh God, he's so gross.
Yeah.
He's just so gross.
He is. All right, Todd, what do you think? Should we start to wrap this one up? It's been an hour. I'll unless you
I mean, I guess, American attention spans or well, I shouldn't talk. I have ADHD, right? So clearly the problem is on my Adderall, I can go forever and ever and ever, like really? I could be. Yeah. I don't want to become one of those podcasts though, where like, so self-grandized that like they think that like people should follow you going to the grocery store and people should like, watch you tie your shoes. And I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, if they make money at it though,
they do. But like, I think at some point, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to have staying power.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Did you want to mention anything about Sarah's campaign before we go?
Yeah. I mean, Sarah's campaign is doing really good. We had a great fundraiser. We raised quite a bit of money for a one-time deal. So that's good. Okay. Several thousand in a night, never a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's New Hampshire. So, New Hampshire's not Beverly Hills and it's not New York City. So you're not going to raise, look, I've done benefits in DC where I raised like, 15, 20,000 in a night, but like, you're not going to get that in New Hampshire. Not likely.
Right.
Because it goes back to that whole, like, I think more conservative side, not to say there's plenty of people in this state that could probably do, $500 to $1,000 donations, but it's just not really like the vibe. But then again, I guess I don't know what they did. I just throw the parties. I don't count the money.
Right.
I count it after the fact. I get the report. Okay, this is what we made, Todd. Great.
Yeah.
It was a success.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, so so I think you know, the stance that we are taking really is like very much like an anti-ice. You know, we're hyper focused on keeping ice out of the Granite State. You know, as much as possible. Also, I think the only other thing I would like to say is that like we really, even like those people, I know I have a lot of people that follow me on all my social media that is not New Hampshire, but we need your support with keeping ice out, because really what that is it's like an invasion into the blue states. I mean, they strategically chose Merrimack because, talk about the middle finger, it's like an FU to the rest of the blue states surrounding us in the Northeast. And I you know, I see it as almost them running little like guerrilla warfare skirmishes out of that base. Like, you know, it's dangerous. It's dangerous, dangerous, dangerous for Massachusetts, for Maine, for Vermont, all of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 100%. You should give the website too for Sarah's Sarah Chudzinski's.
It's sarahc603.com.
Okay.
And you can also find us on Facebook, on Twitter, on TikTok. My media intern is doing the TikTok thing for us.
Good.
I know, I'm showing my generation now, the TikTok thing.
The TikTok thing.
I'll admit, I'm no TikTok connoisseur, nor am I a TikTok aficionado. I don't know much about TikTok. I don't know. I thought that's what watches did. No, I'm not that bad. I'm just
right.
By the way, you know, I should know this, but so much going on in my head at once. So we're on Instagram, correct? We are on Facebook. You said we're on all the other podcast channels too as well?
Oh yeah, we're on Spotify and everything. Wherever you find your podcasts, you can find us.
Okay, and they just go on and search like is it IP Nation and then Hanging Left? Or
no, like if you were to go on Spotify, you would just search Hanging Left.
All right, awesome.
Right,
so let's get that viewership up and let's get that listenership up.
Absolutely.
If you like us, follow us, tag us, do all that jazz. We are 2026 is going to be our year of ice reckoning, so we'll be loud and proud.
Midterms can't get here quick enough.
Exactly. We're in it for the long haul, my friend.
Where can people find you, Todd?
They can find me on all those same. Well, not on TikTok.
Not TikTok.
I have a YouTube account personally, but I really wouldn't follow me. I haven't produced anything for YouTube at this point.
Gotcha.
I'm big on Instagram because I'm also a photographer and I like to do a lot of political art. Similar to what Andrew does, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But mine's a little bit more like, he focuses on the protests themselves. I do a lot with I like to literally show the various signs and the political art that's out there. I'd love to do a show at some point. We'll see if that's in the works, but like I would love to like do a show maybe once it's all over.
Right.
Of like a gallery showing of like all of these political signs, like, you know, the best ones. And, you know, I think that would be a really cool thing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, very good. Oh, and you can find me at mattconnarton.com. And the name of the program that you were thinking of earlier is Futurama.
Futurama, yes.
Yeah, I knew. I'd looked it up quickly. I just typed in Simpsons style space show. Yeah, because it is from the same people that do the Simpsons, but I could not remember the. I couldn't remember the name.
And
either,
I think we're supposed to say "Go Pats." I don't know.
I guess. Yeah. Is the game still even? I don't even know what time the game is.
I don't.
Yeah, but
I know I'm horrible.
Like I said, I hope they win because it makes people around me happy. But I don't watch the sports ball.
I'm literally, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I hope they win too, because like, why wouldn't I hope they win? And they got rid of Belichick, and you know, that's great. And I like the new coach, and I think that the new quarterback is actually freaking hot. So yeah.
Oh, very good. Will you be watching the Turning Points USA halftime show? The counter programming that they're doing.
No, I will not.
I don't even know where to find it. I know it's happening, but I don't know where they're. If it's on YouTube or what.
It is interesting.
It might be. I don't know. Where. Oh
yeah. Well, so for that reason, maybe we should tune in at least to the halftime show. You know, because you know, we got to sit there and listen to a guy who dares to speak another language than English. When he sings. Yep. How horrible.
Yep. Yeah. But he is an American citizen.
He is. Sorry, Trump.
That's right.
Sorry, exactly. Trump. He's more of an American citizen than your wife.
Yes, that is true. That is very true. All right, episode 13 of Hanging Left in the books. Thank you so much, Todd.
All right, thank you.